today we're going to install a structural header. And this time, in this video, it's gonna be a little bit more fun because there's actually daylight. Now, what Sal was kind of saying a minute ago is that, well, for me, one thing I like about this little project we're gonna do is that when I go to put the roofing down, it's gonna make my life easier. And the way we're gonna do that is by removing each one of these posts. And it's gonna give us
more sound, structurally more enforced roof without the dips and valleys. And we're also gonna create a nice view because we're right here on the water. And you can have a nice view looking out your window if you want to come outside.
That's nice. That's really nice. Now, to what he was saying, is look how crooked this entire thing is. Now
we got about a 4-inch dip.
Yeah, at least
in some spots.
Dip. I mean, you can just see the bow in the roof. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take out the bow. We're also gonna cut back these roof rafters, and they're all rotted anyways. So we're cleaning up that a bit too. And we're going to install a new engineered lumber beam, and that's gonna be pretty exciting because we've done one before in the past. We've done quite a few.
This might have been one of the longer ones we've done.
Yeah. I mean, what size is it? 30?
We're at 34 feet.
Exactly 34 feet. And getting that over here was kind of a job, but it's here. And we're still alive, so that's good. All right, you ready to get started? You ready to tear open this floor?
Yep.
Now, the majority of the problem here is that when you're going to do something like this, you're going to put a lot more load in one area, which means a lot more weight in one area than you ever would if you were spread out over 6 or 4 of these posts. Now, right here, we know there's going to be a problem because we've already cut it open. So go ahead, pull that open for me. So as we can see inside of this cavity here, which is traditionally framed, but it's very old. And the thing that we're having a problem with is that this post is not sitting on top of anything strong. So now what we need to do is we need to add a lot of strength to it, because if we don't add the strength, well, then we're gonna have a big, like a sag and a bow in the framing over time, and we'll have the same issue we had before, and that just doesn't look nice. So what we need to do is first fix the underlying issue, which is the lack of strength. Was there anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I'm looking at this thing and I'm a little like, oh shoot.
Would you say it's an oh shit moment?
Yeah, it's an oh shit moment.
That's what that is. So there was no installation of these cavities. We did not pull it out previously. That is exactly what it looked like as we got here. Now, to insulate it would be very expensive, so no one wants to do it. Plus, it's only a very little gain, so unfortunately, it's not in the budget. But what is in the budget is doing this amazing project, which is going to be straightening out the roof and also getting rid of these posts so that it flows more seamlessly from the inside to the outside of the building, which is pretty nice because I think it's really going to make a big difference once I put the deck on of how this is going to look. I think Sal was explaining to me a minute ago how the balloon framing is what we're going to try to attach to and put a new, floor joist to?
Yep.
And we're going to span it underneath with a floor joist and above it with a structural beam. So this will be a very interesting way of doing it. Now we're going to cut open the section here. It's about 2 feet we're going to cut open. So we have access to be able to put a new structural beam or a floor joist. So that's what we're going to do next. Let's roll a time lapse. Let's get it done. We have just finally gotten the plywood off the center here, and it shows us how we really don't have any support. What do you think, Sal?
I think we're gonna have to do a lot of shoring up and bracing stuff before we can even think about putting our LVL in.
The next thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna clean up all this scrap wood that they put in here for some kind of a blocking or bracing or something. And since it's really not doing anything for us now, we're gonna clean it up and get it ready to receive the new floor joist, which is going to, even these cross braces have to come out. I mean, these are probably over 100 years old at this point, but they ain't doing nothing anyway, so they're gonna get thrown away. We're gonna clean up all this stuff and get to the next part, even though they staggered it, which is so crazy to me, but I guess they didn't really, yeah, I don't know what happened there. That's, I was wondering why the nails were so far away from the line.
Looks like they try to pick up everything on that one steel beam, which I don't even know if that sits anywhere.
There's a joint right here in the center of this beam, and it's not supported on top of anything. So all the waste just making it dip. All our waste just dipping down here, and that's why we have that big dip, which is crazy. There's nothing supporting this. I mean, here we have a couple 2x4s that are actually touching, but along the way, not too much. Everything's been cleaned out. We're ready to go. The next thing we're going to do here is install this floor joist here. And so we're just doing out of laminated veneer lumber, which is LVL for short. The reason we're doing that because it has less sag and less dip, and it's engineered so it's a lot stronger than a regular piece of wood. We're pretty much ready to go. The next thing we're gonna do is lower it in place, secure it, and then we can move on to the ceiling portion of this that we're actually here for.
Now that we have our floor joist installed, we put a nailer, and now we're about to put our blocking, so we stiffen it up a little bit more. And then we can close our floor back.
Ready for the beam, but the most important part about putting a beam in is that we have to prepare and like get the whole setup right, because the beam only takes a few minutes, but the preparation for this job takes forever. So what's our next step now?
Next, we're gonna remove any obstacles. We're gonna unstaple all these wires and let them drape down for a little bit. We're gonna make a level cut with the back side of the beam, like right here on every one, both sides, every 2x4, both sides. All the way through, from corner to corner.
Okay. And you're telling me we're taking out that like lattice thing,
yep,
whatever
that's
that
gonna
is.
go.
Those little like poles.
And then after we do that, we're gonna build a temporary wall here to hold the roof while we're pulling the old one out.
Okay, and that's the temporary wall built completely down, and we're just supporting the roof so that when we change out the main beam that's holding up all this this roof right here, that it doesn't fall on us and give us a bad day. So that's what it looks like so far. And now it is time for coffee. It's coffee time. So this is how far we've gotten. And the next thing we're gonna do is set up some scaffolding. Sal, you ready for coffee?
Yep.
We've now marked out all the rafters that are supporting on top of this green post right here. And from there, we're gonna straight cut all the way up and get rid of them all the way out to the outside because they're not doing anything anyways, right?
Nope.
And then we're going to...
They're so rotted that whatever's left is not even supporting anything.
Wait, while you're doing that, can I start cutting the post out?
Yeah.
I'm looking for a place where I can put the load from the top of the roof, right? Because we're gonna put a post somewhere there, all the way down to here. And I'm looking for a place to support the weight to. Now, we didn't initially think that this outside rim board was that bad. And in a lot of places it's okay, but down where the weather has really hit it, it's gone really, really bad. So you can just see right here how bad that rot actually is. So this is just falling apart now. You know, that's really, really bad. So what I need to do is cut a section of it out, give us somewhere hard to put our foot onto, or our post. I gotta give us somewhere hard to put our post onto, and then once we're done doing that, well, then we can bear the load down. But in the future, we really should think about either replacing the rim all the way down. Now it's barely held on with nails, and I'm afraid to even put any weight on it. So this is just gonna go down any second. So this is really just nothing. And it's the same thing with the back one. So really, it's not structural, it's not sound. It really should be roofed in with the roof at the same time, but really in my scope of work at the moment. But hopefully eventually we can get this sorted out. we finally got the beam in, and we couldn't film the rest of it because it got so late and got so dark. We already took down the temporary wall, and we actually got the LVL in place. Everything looks pretty good here. The only thing is we couldn't film it because it got dark, and we had to work till like 9 o'clock at night. And by the time we got the roof covered up with TPO, just temporary, everything's just temporary here, obviously. All the way down is just temporary. This is covered too. It was so late that I probably got out of here by 10 o'clock. And then I went home and drove right back here from 11 till 12 to make sure the rain didn't get into the building because it was temporary covered. So, the beam is not done yet, but it's very close. There's a lot of things that still got to get done. But that's the reason we couldn't really film it, which, you know, whenever you're doing roofing, there's a lot of pressure, and sometimes you just can't get it done. But as of right now, that's what it kind of looks like. Everything's been hangered off. There's a few things we still got to fix, like strapping the line, and then building an overhang for the outside, putting the gutter back, putting the fascia back, that kind of thing. All right, we're at the end of this episode. Let me take you guys through all the small little details that we weren't able to film. What did we learn while we were here? What did we learn about this whole beam install? Nothing. We learned nothing, except 36 feet is very long on top of my truck.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That was a hard lesson to learn, yeah. But we should not do that again. Next time we'll just order it. Yeah, it's a bad idea. Okay, but all the hangers are in place. Everything looks pretty good. The sprinkler pipe just needs to be moved. That little notch needs to be moved, but we're good. Everything is right. It's ready to go. And that is the end of the beam process. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like and subscribe, because I could really use it at this point. It's not going so well. What do you think, Sal?
Yeah, it was a project.
That was a job. It was a project and a job. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until then, guys, over and out.